Hi everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. We're in a local shop here in State College. They have this 2012 Nissan Rogue that is dead in the water. No crank, no start, a lot of stuff doesn't work, no wipers, no power windows. A couple of things do work. The power locks seem to function. The dash lights up. Again, you crank it, nothing. The buzzer in the key on position keeps beeping. That's kind of a weird thing. And I just scanned the entire vehicle, and the only things that we can talk to are airbag, the BCM, intelligent power distribution module, the instrument cluster, and TPMS. And the only core code stored in the entire vehicle is this U1000 CAN communication circuit. All right. A bit of history. I was told the original customer tried to, I think, replace the blower motor resistor. It's around here somewhere. I think this guy right here. He didn't have low fan speed, so that's replaced. And now something shorted out apparently, and we have no HVAC, no blower. We do have lights. We do have the sprayer, but no wiper action, front or back. Yeah, and you would think just start with the easiest thing, but everything is controlled by modules. So the windows go through the BCM, the wipers, the HVAC. So this CAN communication fault is relevant, and now we just have to pick a direction. Where do we want to go? I want to go first to the body control module. This is regular keyless entry, and we can talk to this thing. Let's look at our data. That's the accessories, wiper, headlamp. Let's look at the wiper, see if we have any data PIDs. Now, ignition on switch. Ignition key on switch. Okay, so let's play with the ignition switch right now. Turn this sucker to off. We'll probably lose data. Accessory on switch is off. The first position on. Okay, that's good. And when I turn it to the second position, when the dash lights up, that should also say on. And nothing changes. Let's play around with the wiper switch. Let's turn it to low speed. Okay, we have a response there. We have a response there. We have a response there. Okay, so far everything looks good except for this ignition switch position, and also, you know, the buzzer kind of hinted at that. It would stay beeping at the door even though the ignition switch was on. We can't talk to the engine computer, etc. So what I want to do at this point is go to power distribution diagrams and look at this ignition switch, specifically the number 2 position, and see what we can find there. Alright, so here's the thought process. We need to go find a diagram with the ignition switch, and you can see what the on position feeds. The closest thing I got here on diagrams, BBB Industries, I mean Nissan diagrams in general are kind of annoying. They don't give you wiring colors. They give you fuse numbers, but then you have to go to a separate fuse layout diagram to actually match up the number with the location, because the little thingy here just gives you the fuse value, not the number. In any case, here's our ignition switch. You can see in the on position, these 2 wires, 3 and 4, should be powered up. Now, can we get to any of these fuses to quickly check these 3 and 4 wires? First one is a 10 amp number 1 ignition supply fuse. That's what it's called, and it feeds ignition power supply fuse number 1, and it goes off the page somewhere to here, and actually feeds our IPDM, which is interesting. So let's start there. I just want to see if the ignition switch, when you turn it to on, does it power up this fuse there. We can check any one of these. So, you know, fuse 1 will start there, fuse 2, fuse 3, they're all in order. right here 1, 2, 3 on the bottom row, and physically in this little junction box they're going to be 1, 2, and 3. So let's get our test light out. Has a good ground. We can find a fuse that is hot. There you go. So this is 3. We'll turn the key on, and so that responds to the key. I'll leave the key on. Both sides of that fuse check out. Both sides of that fuse check out. And oh, here we go. So this side, that's the feed, and this side, no beans. So that fuse does look blown. Let's see what it feeds on our diagram. So we're not that far into the diagnosis, but we already found a blown fuse, which I think will put us on the right track. So again, this guy feeds the second page here, and that goes to the IPDM, and across to this page, and it feeds the ECM fuel pump relay. Let's see here, not cross our wires. Actually powers up our ignition relay. Okay, this all makes sense. So that one little fuse controls a whole bunch of stuff in this car. First thing I want to do is put a jumper in here and make sure we don't have any overcurrent conditions. And if we're all good there, we'll just replace the fuse and try to retrace the steps of the customer. Why did it blow? Why did it blow? Oh, let's see. Wasn't the blower relay on here at some point? Let's see. Alright, so this guy's here is blown. It feeds ignition power supply fuse 1. And second page, IPDM. See, there's the blower relay. And that is controlled. It's turned on by leg 4. Okay. So if leg 4 was good, this blower relay would kick on, and we would actually get power to fuse 15 and 16, both 15 amp fuses. Those guys are up here, so let's not get in a rush too fast here. Let's check these guys. So off, on, awesome, I like it. That side's hot, this side's hot, that side's hot, so those are good. So far the only blown fuse is this number 1. Let's get some test equipment. Alright, so we're going to pull number 1, make sure our key is off. Indeed it is completely blown, so we still have to figure out why. I'm going to put in an exact same 10 amp fuse with a loop, and well, first let's put it in, make sure it doesn't blow. If it does, we've only heard a fuse, nothing else. Let's see. Where are we here? Okay, I think we're in. Put our amp clamp on the loop. And it's going to go from the feed through our clamp like so. And we should see some kind of amperage on there. Let's put it on this side so it doesn't wiggle. Not good enough. 0.02 amps. Key on. Oh, I heard some action, and ooh, so nice. Wipers work. Windows work. Let's look at our fan. Fan still does not work, so I guess the customer might have not fixed this problem here. that would be a separate diagnosis, but we got the car running. And the fuse is only drawing 1/2 amp, which I like. No problems there. So this HVAC module is still got no blower action. But I think everything else, rear wiper works fine. All the windows, well, let's see if we unlock the windows. Yep, windows work. Beautiful. And look at that, our ignition on switch data pit actually changed to on. So when we shut the key off, that works. Awesome. So one problem solved. I don't see any other problems with this fuse. Shouldn't blow again. Now we can get to the original problem, which is why does the fan not work? Alright, just to recap, the Nissan Rogue, no crank, no start case study. We got to the problem pretty fast. I mean, it took more time to look up wiring diagrams, the fuse layout, the ignition switch, and it was basically the first fuses we checked was the problem. Now that was definitely user created problem. The blower still didn't work. So I said, you know, that's the first problem. Now the blower, that's a separate issue. It's going to be another hour of Diag, and the customer obviously had no money left over for that one. So we're going to leave it at that. It might be back. We might do a follow-up video just on the blower itself. But for now, yeah, that's it. Pretty cut and dry. What's the moral of the story here? Put down the parts cannon. I heard that, you know, they already tried like an IPDM. They checked all the fuses with the power probe. Again, power probe, I'm not a huge fan of it. I've never really used it all that much. All it does is beep really annoyingly. I prefer the nice warm glow of the test light. It's never let me down so far. So yeah, that's it. Stick to the basics, but you know, they're like, oh, it's just the blown fuse. We checked them all, but you know, you have to know which fuses to check. If you go on checking all the fuses, how the heck do you know which one's which, what powers what? You know, it won't make any sense. You might get lucky, but in this case, you still need some background information. So with that, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.